Elvis Presley's stepbrother was in the room with the king when they listened to Kiss's Alive record, and the stepbrother overheard his thoughts on the band during the listening session. The occurrence took place around the year 1975, not long after Billy Stanley had attended his first Kiss show, at which time he had acquired the band's album, and he played it in the basement of Graceland. Join us in this video as we learn more about the King's thoughts on Kiss, as well as what some Kiss members thought about him. Now, before we go to what the King thought of Kiss, let's find out what one of the band's members said about Elvis Presley himself. Kiss bassist Gene Simmons' opinions continued to be on the mark. In a 2022 interview with Planet Radio, he branded Elvis Presley poor and bloated once more. Gene Simmons is a member of Kiss, one of the most successful rock bands in history. He rose to popularity in Kiss due to his spectacular theatrical attire, wild stage performances, and one-of-a-kind stage makeup. Gene Simmons, one of the band's founding members, has been rocking his fans since the band's inception in 1973. His stage character, the Demon, was inspired by his performance attire and makeup when they began their careers in New York City. Simmons has contributed to the band's 20 studio albums since the year he founded the band with the band's iconic lineup, which means he has appeared in the band's entire catalog. He has recorded 2 solo albums, Gene Simmons and Asshole, in 1978 and 2004, respectively. Gene Simmons has made debatable remarks regarding rock and musicians throughout the years. He once referred to Elvis Presley as poor and bloated, while discussing Kiss's decision to disband. Simmons first stated that Kiss is grateful to fans for allowing them to accumulate all of those wonderful memories. He went on to say that they would not be here if it weren't for their supporters. Everything comes down to pride, adds Simmons. Have enough self-respect to know when to leave with dignity because you love the fans and you appreciate. It's too soft of a word. We're forever grateful for this astonishing journey because without the fans, we wouldn't be here. The performer then said that Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll, should have retired while he was at his peak, calling him poor and bloated. He also highlighted his band, stating that they are leaving the rock on their top. Fans demanded the finest, he said, and they got Kiss. He tried to compare the situation to boxers. He mentioned that everyone has seen boxers who have stayed in the ring for too long. Then he added, or poor Elvis Presley, who ended up naked and bloated on a Vegas bathroom floor. That's not Elvis. Simmons stated that someone famous should quit while they're ahead. Quit while they still resemble people's preconceived notions of them. Remember when we walked out there and said, you wanted the best, you've got the greatest, the hottest band in the world, Kiss. Not anything like, oh, I remember them when they were very fantastic. You should have seen them back in year 1 or year 2. No, it's right here, right now, and if you can't deliver on a certain level, have the humility to say, thank you, and we're done. We're reaching the 50-year mark. How long can you keep going? Gene Simmons has previously described Elvis Presley as bloated and naked. Simmons referenced him during an interview with Rolling Stone in August 2021 when discussing Van Halen leader David Lee Roth's vocals. It bears noting that during Dave's heyday, nobody did what he did. He was the ultimate frontman, Simmons said. Not Plant, not Rod Stewart, nobody. He took being a frontman way beyond anything. And then, I don't know what happened to him. Something. And you get modern-day Dave. I prefer to remember Elvis Presley in his prime. Sneering lips, back in Memphis, doing all that. I don't want to think of bloated Elvis on the bathroom floor. But what about the King? What did he think of the band? I got it cranked up, playing air guitar, Stanley said in a new interview with Artists on Record. He tells the story of how Elvis descends the stairs and inquires what he was listening to which Stanley replied, "They go by the name Kiss." Then he showed him the front cover of the record, at which point Elvis said, "Oh, okay." He then proceeded to look at it while seated on the sofa, before saying, "Okay, I get it." Stanley said that Elvis instructed him to play that song again, the one that he just heard the other play. To which he did, and it was a song called "Let Me Go Rock and Roll." The king's stepbrother said that he had already played it for him twice, when Elvis requested it a third time. Stanley was taken aback at this, but he complied and played it again. "What are your thoughts?" Stanley asked, and Elvis responded by saying that he understood the entire thing. "You know, Kiss. Keep it simple, stupid." He also remarked that they got the makeup in order for them to be able to move freely after leaving the stage. Nobody sees them. Nobody knows who they are. Nobody has any idea who they are, or anything like that. He then stated that it was a good idea. The late musician had some further comments on Kiss, including how pleased he was by Ace Frehley's guitar skills, which was shared by Presley's stepbrother. According to Stanley, he said, "Listen to it, Billy. All it is a groove from the 1950s. But what about that guitarist?" Stanley responded by saying that's Ace Frehley. Elvis complimented him, and mentioned that he had some X-rated guitar licks, and that he had a lot of respect for him. Immediately before to leaving the room, he remarked, "I get it. It's 3 chords and a cloud of dust, and that's how you do it. And you make them crave more of what you have to offer. I have no doubt that they do it in exactly the same manner during their live shows." Stanley also disclosed that Presley's daughter, Lisa Marie, became a Kiss fan quite soon after being exposed to the band. He went on to remark, "I'm surprised. She didn't say anything to Elvis," as an additional comment, "because Elvis would have had a meeting with them. Let me introduce you guys to my daughter." And speaking of Kiss, additional relics have been added to the opened icons. The Influence of Elvis Presley exhibit at the Elvis Presley's Memphis Entertainment and Exhibit Complex at Graceland as part of the year-long anniversary celebration of the life and legacy of Elvis Presley that is taking place in Memphis. The celebrated icons, the Influence of Elvis Presley exhibit, which was curated by a team from the Graceland Archives, would not have been possible without the assistance of more than 30 music artists and entertainers, who were affected by the king of rock and roll. Elvis Presley was a music pioneer who paved the path for many of today's artists and celebrities. This innovative display commemorates Elvis Presley's reputation as a music pioneer by showcasing Elvis's original wardrobe, instruments, and memorabilia from musicians and celebrities such as Bruce Springsteen, Jimi Hendrix, Elton John, James Brown, Billy Joel, and many more. Kiss, widely regarded as one of rock's most influential bands, had some of its iconic costumes on display that started on May 17, 2017, alongside other works by renowned artists and rock and roll memorabilia. The Rock and Roll Hall of Famers are recognized for their unique stage outfits and have recorded 44 albums combined. They have also sold more than 100 million records throughout the world. The Rock and Roll Hall of Famers now proudly take their position in an exhibition that is dedicated to Elvis Presley's effect on other popular culture giants. Gene Simmons, one of the founding members of Kiss, responded to the news that the band's costumes will be featured in the Graceland show by declaring, "Elvis is king. Period." Paul Stanley, one of the co-founders of Kiss, said that no one name says more than his, Elvis. It roars while others whisper. And those were Elvis Presley's thoughts about the band Kiss. What do you think? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks.